Hey guys, this is the Star F Series, also known as the SA. Enjoy the shooting. Alright guys, welcome back. I guess first, let me see if I can get y'all guys to like and subscribe up top here. Trying to get to 1,000 this year. Help me out. Anyways, today we're taking a look at another pawn shop find. This is a Star, well, a Spanish Star, the company Star out of Spain, model F, but also known as the SA because that's the only marking on it as far as a model, is the SA Cal 22. Now, first we're going to check it. Clear. So, I got this, found this in a pawn shop last year. Actually, not a bad price. I think I paid $5 for it. And that's because I didn't own a semi-automatic 22 pistol. And I actually haven't had as much time with this gun as I would like. I have shot it multiple times past the shooting footage, and this thing has run flawlessly every time I've shot it. However, my aim is not the best on it due to my vision in the sights. You can see it's just a blade and notch on it. You know, none super crazy. They made an Olympic version of this that had a long barrel, and there might be some out there with target sights. I'm not 100% sure. Not a ton of information on this gun out there. They were imported out of Spain into the U.S. This particular one falls somewhere in the late 50s, 1958 to the 60s, 64, 65-ish, based on my research. In 58, they changed from, you know, a round barrel and more of a smaller, almost PPK-esque type frame to this one here that looks kind of reminiscent of the Beretta 92 in a way, kind of, you know, the overall shape and the way that this slide functions on it. You know, it's got a fixed barrel and all that. So, super interesting looking gun. It feels really good in the hand, thanks to this this kind of thumb rest on it. You see the controls are a little weird on it. The slide stop's kind of far back. You know, most guns, you know, they're actually about right where this notch is right now is normally where your slide stop is, somewhere in this area, but it's actually back here. Basically, we have our mag release kind of in normal spot. Then we have our slide stop. And this does, I believe, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure this does have a last round hold open. Take down, disassembly button, and then safety. So what's interesting is the safety on this is not a decocker, unfortunately. But when it is in safe, not only does the safety physically lock the slides where it can't be racked, but it also disables the trigger. Of course, if the safety's up, the trigger also cannot be locked back. So if you got a round in this gun, you can't, and the safety's on, you can't operate it at all. on this particular gun. Let me see here. I have to take a look at it here in a second when I take off the slide. I don't remember if this is an over travel firing pin on this or not. I'll take a look at it here when I take it apart. But really interesting, beautiful gun. This one here is actually probably on my list to be completely restored and polished blued and stuff, just because it's a nice looking gun. I wouldn't mind having target sights put on it, simply because, you know, with my bad eyes, it makes it shooting handgun a little easier for me. I have seen a couple pictures of these that have been drilled and slotted for a pick rail up here. I would not do that on this gun just because it is, you know, a really nice little antique shooter. And these were supposed to be super, super accurate. As I said, reliably, this thing hasn't given me an issue yet. I put 3 or 4 different types of ammunition through it. It hasn't given me a hiccup whatsoever. So, gun's been super reliable so far. Trigger pull is actually really great on it. So, it's nice, and you got a take up, and you got a wall, and a clean break from that wall. So, these were meant to be target pistols, and it clearly shows when you actually get down and looking at this thing. Of course, when this was made, target sights were on handguns wasn't a big thing just yet. So, you know, you got the sights you got. These are fairly rare in the US. There's a small following on them. There's very little videos of these on YouTube, actually, because they are relatively rare. But they are super high quality. Star has kind of a mixed batch of reputation when it comes to quality. These are super high quality. They're Model B pistols, which I believe are based on the Browning High Power. Those were surplus that were coming into the country a couple years back. Those were actually super high quality as well, military surplus. I wish I got one back in the day when they were coming in. They were like $200, and I think I even saw some below $200, and I wish I got one. Then now they've dried up, but those are super high quality as well. Single stack 9mm, great little guns. I believe they were based on the Browning High Power action, which is probably my favorite pistol action there is. So anyways, let's go over the markings. You see on the grip, it's got the Star logo. It says Star trademark. And these are, I guess this is Bakelite or some type of plastic from then. You got a U.S. patent number. It says Spain on trigger guard. Nothing really going on the bottom. You got a serial number, and this is the only place where it says FR as for the model on it. Most people refer to it as the SA because it says SA right here on the slide. You have another Star logo right there. Star. Not even gonna try to pronounce that. You got a stamp on the barrel itself, likely a proof mark. You know, really interesting looking little gun. Like I said, you know, I'm really considering taking this thing down and really polishing it up good and giving it a nice, good dark blue. Just because, you know, it's a beautiful looking gun. So disassembly is a little tricky on this, but easy at the same time. So this disassembly button right here, you have to press it down and take the slide back just a little bit to about right there, and then it lifts up and it kind of slides forward off. Now sometimes this spring assembly comes with it, sometimes it doesn't. See, it's kind of retained by a little notch or a little pin right there, and the spring is retained inside of there on this little guide pin here as well. You gotta kind of finagle this thing in here, but it's kind of retained in there. As you can see, it is a fixed barrel, so that does, you know, lend itself to accuracy. Now, I don't know why more handguns don't do the fixed barrel design. It's superior to, you know, a locking barrel. The only issue that you have is with lockup. You have to come up with a lockup system most guns that are fixed barreled like this, like the Makarov, the P64, the PPK, this star like this, they're usually direct blowback guns with weaker cartridges. Um, Now, the exception of that being like the Desert Eagle, which has a rotating locking bolt almost like an AR-15. Um, it would be conceivable to have some type of locking system with a fixed barrel. Um, my guess would be, if I had to design one, I would say probably some type of gas operated falling block. You know, a block that's spring tensioned up into the slide, held in place, and a gas port pushes that block back down, allowing the slide to actuate backwards while the wind pressures drop to a safe level. It's possible. Um, you know, I do one day in the future plan on getting into some gun building myself, and that might be something I might tinker around with. Um, but as you can see, field strip very simple. You get to everything important, right here. Like I mentioned earlier before, let me take a look at this spring here. It is not an over travel spring, so if the hammer, so in theory this wouldn't be super drop safe. Because if the hammer is sitting on it and that hammer does push forward a little bit, the pin does protrude out the side, out the front, as opposed with the over travel. If the back is pushed all the way in, the pin does not stick out because it actually uses that inertia to travel the rest of the way out forward. So I wouldn't carry this safe, but then again, it's a 22. I wouldn't carry this to begin with, as self-defense or anything like that. What this is meant for is a planking and sporting gun. So I would love to get more time with this and shoot a bunch with it, get good with it. 22 is actually the ammunition I have the most of right now, because I have actually been able to find some here and there that was relatively cheap. But like I said, this gun is super reliable, feels super good in the hand. Let's talk about the magazine a little bit. So first of all, it is a good dropout mag, but it's not flared in any way. Like I said, flared magazine wells weren't really a thing when this came out. Now, I do love the open style of a magazine where you can actually see how many shells you have in here. And what I like even more is the fact that it has the little grip on the side of it. So instead of having to force each shell down, or each cartridge down with your hand with the next round, you can actually grab this with your thumb, pull it down, and actually make space for the next cartridge. So like say if I'm loading one, I pull it down, it's more or less just drop it in there, drop it back up. So it does make loading pretty easy. You can see on there it's got some nice knurling on the button to give you a good grip. The witness slot allows you to be able to count the cartridges. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I think I've gotten 11 in this one before, but that 11th one tends to jam. So 10 is safe, so you can have 10 plus 1. So, pretty standard capacity for a 22 semi-auto pistol. Nothing crazy there. The magazine does appear to be really high quality. No bend whatsoever. Real good supported. Good strong feed lips on it. Pretty high quality mag. I have not priced these to see how much additional magazines are. I imagine with how rare the gun is in the U.S., they're probably not cheap. And I doubt extended mags exist for it. The button, like I said, the mag release does have nice knurling as well. Actually, more than a lot of guns, it's real tactile. Now the grooves, the knurling, the grip on the slide itself, kind of mild, not super strong. You don't get a super good grip on there, but it's enough. And unlike a lot of 22 pistols, the spring isn't so bad on it. I've had some 22 pistols, smaller ones, where the spring on a direct blowback is really difficult. It's a really heavy spring, especially with this one here that doesn't have a lot of travel. I think it was a Taurus PT22 I had, was super hard to pull the slide back on it. But it did have a tip barrel, and it was double action, which kind of made it not necessary. That's another type of design that I really wish I saw more of, was the tip barrel design. Because that makes, tip barrel double action makes it to where you don't have to rack that first round. You tip the barrel, press the button, tip the barrel, pop one in there, drop it in, and you can either rack the, cock the hammer by hand, or use that double action, and then it gets cycling there from there on. I was gonna make a point about something on this thing. I can't quite remember. Now it does have a half cock, but the way the hammer goes, it's easy to get past that half cock. So if you do half cock and safe, that is the only way I would suggest maybe carrying it. But then you still have to full cock it. But you can't, like I said, once you got the safety on, you can't manipulate anything on the gun. So I guess that would be the safest way to carry it if you were going to carry it with one in the chamber. But you have to be careful, because that firing pin is not over travel. So if you go all the way down on the hammer is sitting and depressing that firing pin all the way in, and therefore it is on the cartridge. So if you had a cartridge in there, the hammer would actually be slightly back, because the firing pin won't be able to travel forward all the way, and that's why you have that drop fire hazard. So if you were to carry it, half cock is going to be where to go with the safety on. Now, as you can see, even if it's on half cock, you can't operate the trigger or anything, and the trigger is locked in place until you go back the rest of the way. So it's fairly safe as far as, some hammer guns go. Some aren't as... There's a lot of safety features kind of built into this thing. And as I mentioned earlier, the mag hold open, if I can get this here. Okay. So, for some reason, now the mag hold open won't work. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So, I guess you have to go all the way back, and then it'll work. You can't disactivate it. Okay, there you go. But yeah, the mag hold opens in a kind of a weird spot. You have to... And because of the way the grip is, you can't just manipulate it very easily from there. You have to kind of change your angle to get to it. So, if you have bigger hands, it may not be that big of a problem for you, but, the small hands, like me, it is what it is. Like I said, normally it's a little further forward. What I would like to have seen would have been and I don't know why I don't think of any guns that have a right side trigger finger operated mag release. Because to me, being able to have your slide open and just like that would be kind of, intuitive a little bit. It'd be ergonomic. Anyways, not a whole lot that's super crazy about this gun. Like I said, just an interesting little antique 22 shooter. I do want to get some more time with this. I wouldn't mind taking time to really get to know this gun, really get good with it, and try to do some trick shooting with it in the future. That's pretty much all I really got this gun for, was just an interesting little addition to the collection, something that's just a fun shooter. Nothing super crazy with it. Anyways, that's the Star Model FR 22 semi-auto out of Spain. Next week, we're going to be back on a rifle, and it's going to be another 22 rifle, but an odd one that's a work in progress, but also complete. Interesting. Hope y'all like that one. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good one. Be sure to come over here and subscribe. And of course, you have to hit the little bell. Otherwise, we won't show up in your notifications each time we post a new video. And check us out on Facebook and give us a like. We post all of our content there as well.